So there's an opportunity now for 5 minutes of questions. Any questions from the floor? Gentleman just here at the front. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, hello.
Can you say who you are, and could you stand up as well, please?
Sorry, John Cherry. I'm a farmer in Hertfordshire. We have suckler cows. We're pasture fed. But, feeling rather smug, I got our local abattoir were running a carbon dioxide audit, a carbon audit, and I thought I'd pass with flying colours, but they said because everything takes so long to finish, actually we'd be better off machine gunning polar bears for all the good we're doing. Are you hoping to answer these problems with carbon dioxide? They're saying because animals live so long, they're emitting more methane and all the rest of it.
Sarah, shall I give that to you to start off with? You said you were working with eBlex, and perhaps Andrea, you would like to also answer that. Thank you.
In fact, I'm going to pass that over to... Yes. Someone who knows more than me.
If you're running...
Sorry, could you just say who you are?
Chris Jones. I sort of been a member of the PFLA since the start, and I'm very, very keen on this carbon budgets for farms and so on. Now, we were a mixed farm doing corn feeding, and we had a carbon audit done, 308 tonnes in the red on our carbon emissions. Very interestingly, the arable side of it was 49% of the emissions on 30 acres, and the other 120 acres was 51%, and that was all livestock. So we stopped ploughing and went entirely grass. We now sequester 300 to 350 tonnes every year, and the difference is what's going on in the soil. Now, a lot of the carbon audit programs do not consider what is going on in the soil. If you don't do that, you're only getting half the answer. So what I would say is have a look into the carbon audit program, and you'll see a change, I'm sure.
Thank you for that. Andrea, do you want to say a few?
Just to go on that, the potential of soil is huge. And if we increase soil organic matter by 1% on the grasslands of the world, which is very possible, we would take out 67 parts per million from the atmosphere of carbon. So properly managing livestock on grasslands is a climate change solution.
Thank you. Lady at the back, sorry.
Jill Westcott, Devon. Could you please say a bit more about the active grassland management, and what do you mean by that in terms of seeding or whatever?
So grasslands have evolved with wild herbivores and their pack hunting predators. And so when I'm talking about grassland management, it's not seeding it. It is allowing adequate recovery periods, but also more importantly, allowing the animals to graze and trample as mimicking the wild herds. And so, again, just making sure that they have adequate recovery periods, so moving them frequently, but often actually increasing the numbers, so short duration, longer term.
I think it's an interesting question, that, because this morning we heard from a couple of dairy farmers, absolutely fascinating presentations. They obviously work their grassland very hard, and they reseed, reap, and all of that. We just happen to farm in, we've got permanent pastures, which we value for their biodiversity, so we don't want to do that, so our system suits that. So grassland can be managed in all sorts of ways.
Sorry, our final question then, please. Thank you.
Clyde Jones. I manage dairy herd, both herbal lay-based and rotational New Zealand grazing. But the rotational grazing I thought was very important, and I would have thought it would be on your stipulations, on your requirements. And that it's otherwise it'd be quite frustrating to run out of grass at certain times of the year.
Thank you. Top tip there. Good point to leave. I've just got, as chairman's prerogative, a quick question that I'd actually like to ask of our American contingency over here. You said that 95% of beef cattle were in feedlots, fed in feedlots. That's a dramatic change to bring around grassland, grass-fed systems. How do you see that changing, and what time scale do you think that you might be able to get to your desired wishes, really?
Well, in the last 10 years, we've gone from 1% of the total beef sales in the United States to 3% of the total beef sales in the United States. The total beef sales in the United States is $36 billion, so we've gone from 1% to 3% in 10 years. We can't base future performance on past performance because of the informed consumer and because of the things that are involved in that. So we're hoping that that will increase dramatically and go from 3% to 7% in the next 7 years. So we're hoping. Are we going to get rid of feedlots in my lifetime? No, I said this last night. But in the next 60 years that I'm alive, we hope to make a major change. We'd like to see in the next 10 to 15 years of 15%, take 15% of the market. What do you see? Same thing?
Yeah, I also, in the United States, so much of our grass-fed meat is imported as well. And so by really trying to build and grow the domestic market and solving some of these problems related to processing primarily, I think that we will be able to increase.
Thank you very much. So we'll invite you in 10 years' time, and we'll look to see 15% of the US population, beef cattle being grass-fed. So finally, a very big thank you to Carrie, to Andrea, to Sarah and Fidelity for very, very interesting talks, and thank you to the audience for your attentive listening and for your great questions. And lunch is at the back, so thank you very much.